Meeting of the Lee County School Board will come to order. I'd like to ask Superintendent if you would please offer our prayer and salute.
Our Heavenly Father, we are thankful for the many blessings of life. We thank you for giving us this opportunity that we might gather together as a unit and do the things that are in the best interest of our school system and our students and communities. Give us the wisdom to make the right choices. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. At this time, I would look for a motion to adopt this evening's agenda.
So moved.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. Any questions, any other items of discussion? Not all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Number of people sitting out here this evening, and as always, we welcome you to come in. And at this time, if there's anyone who has anything that they would like to speak to the board concerning, this is the appropriate time to do so. Again, we thank you for being here, and we'll move on to item D. Ms. Kathy Lawrence.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to honor Willie Duncan from Williston High School tonight. He is the district's nominee for the Sunshine State Scholar Program. Each year, each high school nominates their outstanding junior in the field of math and science for this award, and this year Willie is our nominee. Let me tell you a little bit about Willie. I knew about Willie before I ever met Willie. When we first started the STEM Scholar Program around the district, Kelly Watkins, who was the math coach at Williston High School, said, the first person we got to get in the STEM Scholar Program is Willie Duncan. She said, he is the greatest kid. I want my kid to be just like Willie. And so he was one of the first people we recruited for the STEM Scholar Program, and I knew exactly what Kelly Watkins was talking about as soon as I met Willie. Willie has a 4.0 unweighted GPA. He's going into the field of math or engineering when he graduates. By his 9th grade year, he had taken Algebra 2 honors and advanced math. He's in dual enrollment right now. He's passed many AP tests. And so we're excited to award him this award tonight. The school also said that for the past 2 years, Willie is the outstanding student in mathematics for Williston High, English for Williston High, science, social studies, and foreign language. So I am sure the rest of the student body is ready for him to graduate. So they can win an award. So that's a little bit about Willie, and we're excited. His parents are here, Mr. Duncan, Ms. Sneed. And Willie will go to Orlando next week with his parents and with his teacher, Erica Reddick, who I'd like to introduce to you as well, from Williston High School, who's a pre-calculus teacher. And they will enjoy a time of 2 days in Orlando with other STEM Sunshine State scholars around the state, business, education leaders. So we're happy for Willie. Really, one other thing, Willie made a perfect 150 on the first math test. So he's well deserving, and we're excited about all he's already done and what we know he will do. Willie,
And I think his teacher needs to come up.
Erica? And then we'll ask his parents to come up after this photo and get a photo of Mr. Bill Pott. Yes, of course.
There we go.
Sorry. Miss Steve, is y'all getting the next photo? We're laughing because, Willie's mom is in college too, and I just said, which one's gonna graduate first? She thinks Willie's gonna graduate.
That's so awesome.
Whether the other students may want you to graduate, but I can tell your teachers and principals know.
I think we need to hire a math teacher.
I can speak for the other board members in the fact that, regardless of how smart God gave you, you had to have the nurturing of your parents to push all of that along. So, thank you, parents, and, thank you for your efforts too, and good luck.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, when you go to Orlando and you're talking to the other STEM scholar, are y'all gonna talk about things like the second law of thermodynamics?
Okay, I just want to make sure you were normal.
Why is there
Very proud of you, very happy.
Thank you for coming.
All right, item E on the agenda is Carol Jones Schwab. Who votes?
The boys.
The boys. Is that like if the boys will not behave?
That's what Mr. Alexander usually says. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Superintendent, and Mr. Chairman, and members of the board. Tonight is a night to recognize and celebrate various events and accomplishments, and I'm proud to stand before you tonight with an opportunity to talk to you about career and technical education. February is traditionally Career and Technical Education Month, and it gives us a chance to tell the stories of leadership and excellence from classrooms across the country and raise awareness of the crucial role that CTE has in readying our nation for economic success and workforce competitiveness. CTE classrooms are modern-day laboratories where students and educators alike are developing the skills that will power the future of college and career success. Today, in Levy County, we have 1,486 enrollments in CTE courses. They are duplicate as far as individual students, because some take more than one. In 2013-15, we had 218 industry certifications awarded, which generated a little over $105,000 in bonus-weighted funding to support our CTE programs. In a letter to the superintendent from Senator Don Gates, Levy County was recognized for ranking 13 of 67 school districts in bonus funding earned per grade 912 FTE. I'm pretty proud of that accomplishment. I'm sure Mr. Clemens would like for us to be
Can we have
number
a
one.
Yahoo down there? No.
And I will share with you just an excerpt from the letter, but if you're interested in looking at the entire letter, the district performed above the state average for passing rate on industry certifications. Our average was 88%, and the state average was 79%. I don't have enough of these for everyone, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you to take one of these and pass it down. The back side has the excerpt from Senator Gates' letter, and then the front side gives us our federal performance indicators. And our Perkins grant is our federal grant that we are required to be evaluated on an annual basis. And that data also indicates that Levy County is outperforming the state average in 7 of 8 federally evaluated categories. And you have a copy of the data to review. I will say, when you look at this Perkins data, there is one area of concern that pops out immediately. I'll give y'all some, if we might have some extras. I had no idea we'd have such a crowd tonight.
I can share with you. I can share with you.
The math data, I hate to say that in front of Willie, doesn't look very good, but that has to deal with the fact that prior to this year, the data that was used was the old high school math.
and they've made an adjustment for the Algebra 1. And the state has indicated that we'll probably see this score change. But a CTE concentrator is a student who's completed 3 courses in a program. So those students are juniors and seniors that are reflected in this data. Well, they took the Algebra 1 some time back. Our students who are taking Algebra 1 as juniors and seniors are struggling students in math, and therefore we would expect the performance indicator to be low. But anyway, so that's not trying to cover anything up with that, but I'm saying that once that data is corrected, you will see that we have achieved our performance data in all those areas. So on the state level, we've been recognized by the state of Florida for our accomplishments, and on the federal level. So in closing, I just want to say our CTE instructors are always working to ensure that the students in Levy County have the opportunity to excel in and out of the classroom. The teachers are very active in their professional organizations. They are the first to participate in any professional development on the state level or that we offer here in the district. They have a phenomenal working relationship with our businesses and our colleges, and they do that to ensure that our students have wide exposure to multiple exit options from our high schools. For the first time, our CTE students, our CTE instructors, the instructors will receive a bonus similar to our advanced placement teachers for their work in preparing students to pass the National Industry Certification exams. It really is an honor to work with so many dedicated teachers, and we invite you to visit our classrooms whenever the opportunity is available.
Board members, any comments for Mrs. Jones? Opposed?
Carol, I just hope that you, and I'm sure you do, but I think we need to bear down and make sure guidance counselors are aware of this stuff. And, you know, I'm sure the principals are too, but guidance counselors, I think, need to be aware of this stuff, but, you know, sometimes CT programs don't get a lot of credit for what they do, but they really help schools, they help schools great, they help all the teachers in the
Yes,
school, I hope
sir.
they realize that.
We
I
actually
think we need to tell them that every chance we get.
We actually have a special luncheon that we're doing for the guidance counselors on February 19th. My students used to tell me I was a brown noser, but I always say it's public relations, because that's exactly what we want to do. They play an integral part in supporting our CTE programs, but sometimes we don't do a very good job of explaining all of the benefits, and the return on investment is phenomenal. We have posted on our school board website, our career technical education website, it's linked there, and we've posted what the return on investment is for these industry certifications that our students are awarded. Most of those certifications equal college credit if they enter that field at any college in the state of Florida, state college, not university. So the return on investment is large. We are exploring some new opportunities. We've been approached by the University of Florida and Embry-Riddle to look at a new agricultural program and using drones, drone technology. So it's, you know, we've got the 2 biotechnology programs, and so I'm not sure, you know, we are willing to serve as a pilot and work through that curriculum and see where it takes us. But we're always looking to improve, and what do you make? You ever played a drone?
No, ma'am, not at all.
I was very impressed. I won't try to repeat what I was told by the folks from Embry-Riddle, but it was pretty impressive for the technology and what's happening with drones in the field of agriculture.
I think I'm looking to make these improving as they go to drones.
Yeah, yeah.
So they do so much when I have them do that.
But I did not ask the CTE teachers to be here tonight. We did meet on February 2nd and had a pretty good working day. But I think you'll see before you somewhere tonight information related to those teachers and their bonuses.
Very good. But we're very proud of them. If I could make one request, that newspapers do not use the term brown nose in their
Mr. Went knows him too well, so.
Be a public relations.
Mr. Hastings, mind if I say a few words about Carol?
Please do.
we have great teachers, and we also have a great person in charge of leading that group, and they collaborate on a regular basis. Carol listens to the teachers. She's out in the schools. If there's an equipment need, if you look at Carol's email and things that come our way, you see all the purchase orders. She's buying heavy equipment. She listens to them. She works with them directly. And I think that makes a big difference in why we have the productivity, why we have the scores, why we're ranked 10th in the state. Those numbers that you shared tonight, Carol has a huge role in that, and I want to thank her for everything she does.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's good teachers' work.
If y'all, as parents, need to maybe get him home to start doing some studying right now. This would be a good time for y'all to sneak out to that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
having us.
Thank you for coming.
Item F, Dr. Hall.
No, you didn't.
That's proceed.
Good evening again to our board members, Chairman Mr. Turner, Mr. Hastings, our board attorney, David Delaney, my colleagues, and our guests. It's a great pleasure that I stand before you as we recognize and celebrate Student Services Week. Our student services personnel includes 14 school guidance counselors, 2 social workers, 4 RN nurses, who also serve as our on-site team coordinators at their respective schools. We have Angie Phillips, who oversees the teen parent program for our district. We also have Jeannie Norris, who's our nurse coordinator. And we have 2 department RN health aides that also serves as our CPR instructors. Every day, and I mean every single day, not just the school week, but on weekends as well, we have caring and dedicated professionals across this district who are reaching out to our students and families and finding innovative and effective ways to provide support to our students, encouraging academic and career guidance, as well as social and emotional well-being. Our student service personnel are essential in providing support to the vision of college and career readiness, and they become reality for our students. It is so important that our professionals reach out to each and all students and meet them where they are, and they do a fine job with that. Their love and passion does not go unnoticed, and our students and families throughout the district are truly blessed to have these professionals work alongside, not only with their colleagues, but also the students and families. At this time, we will have our 2 social workers who are also hardworking, dedicated, and very compassionate. We have Terry Poe. Terry Poe, many of you know Terry. She's been here for a long, long time. She started her career when she was 12. And Terry serves the Bronson community, the Chiefland community, and Cedar Key.
She left her goose at home, didn't she?
Yes, I did. We also have Terry Poe's partner, who's also our school social worker, and that's Gail Korn, and Gail covers Williston community and Yankeetown. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to these 2 ladies, because you know in the past we've had nurses that come before you, we've had guidance counselors come before you. So now we're going to have the social workers to share just a little bit about what they do. And so I'm going to pass this to you as well. This is not inclusive in terms of all the things they do, but this does give a snapshot of the services they provide throughout our district. Okay, girls. And Ross.
Here.
Sir.
Do we have enough for
Mr. Reporter's call.
Okay, as Dr. Call has already introduced us, I'm Terry Pogue, and I cover the Bronson, Chico Cedar Key area, and I've been in this district for 18 years. I know some of you all wish it's not this long, and others probably are wishing it didn't soon. But we're here to just tell you a little bit about what we do. But first, there's a little quiz I would like you to take, so if you'll just focus on the screen for a moment. This is 5 questions you need to answer. Let's see if I can do this.
Hello, thank you for stopping by. I am here to help you decide if you want to be a social worker. Please get a pencil and paper, an iPad, smartphone, the palm of your hand or some other device to record and score your answers. Here is your first question. Do you have another source of income besides what you expect to make as a social worker? This could be income from a working spouse, other winnings, investments you made in Apple stock when it was $1 a share, or money saved when you were a child. If you answered yes to having another source of income, score 1 point. If you answered no, score 0 points. Question 2. Do you enjoy paperwork to include writing down everything you have done in 15-minute increments? This could include the ability to record people's comments about their parents, siblings, their issues about being a middle child, stories about meeting the president, Captain Kirk, Mr. Rogers, or imaginary friends. If you answered yes that you enjoy paperwork, score 1 point. If you answered no, score 0 points. Give yourself 1 bonus point if you can write progress notes that are not missing location codes, signatures, titles, time, or locations. Question 3. Do you cry easily or suffer panic attacks during times of stress? Stress can include any of the following situations: looking at your paycheck and wondering how you are going to pay your bills, driving a company car that may be carrying bed bugs, listening to someone curse at you for not taking them to the mall or store, for not giving them a bus token. Or how about not caring about them because you won't let them buy lottery tickets with their monthly disability check? Score 1 point if you don't cry easily or have panic attacks during times of stress. Score 0 points if you do. Question 4. Do you have a desire to solve everyone's problems and then have them thank you afterwards, saying that you are the greatest social worker who has ever walked the earth? If you have this desire, score 0 points. If you do not, score 1 point. Question 5. Do you have the following qualities: persistence, patience, empathy, ability to work long hours at low pay, willingness to sacrifice your own personal health and comfort for others, a high tolerance for stress? Do you have the ability not to yell, scream, or pull your hair out when stressed? If you have these qualities, score 1 point. If you do not, score 0. This concludes our quiz. If you scored 4 or more points, then you might have what it takes to be a social worker. If you scored 3 or less points, talk with someone who is a social worker and ask them if they feel you would cut it in social services. Thanks for stopping by and good luck with your career.
Well, needless to say, Gail and I have scored at least 5 points on these quizzes. We do work with the families here in Levy County on some of our, this is just kind of a nutshell of some of the things we do. We are very active with our schools and with the agencies that we work with. We're both very involved in the Backpack for Kids program, help coordinating that. We try to be involved in all of our schools with the any kind of fairs or programs that they have, literacy programs. So we are pretty much available for the schools at the schools that we go to. I have 9 schools, and so I can't be at all of them every day. But when I'm there, if the principal calls me and says, I need this home visit or I need this, then that's what we do. We kind of drop what we have and try to do that. We do our evaluations with the families, and getting yelled at, that's very common. You won't think you get, the teachers may say they get yelled at by the parents, what happens is Gail and I a lot of times go behind that and have to smooth some ruffled feathers and then get yelled at again. So, but we smile at them and say it's okay. So we pretty much enjoy our jobs. I mean, I've been here 18 years. I don't know what else I'd do. Well, yeah, there you go. The beach stuff, okay. But we just love our kids here in Levy County. I mean, we've been here to do that job, and we appreciate the support that we get, and that the board gives us, and that we don't get fired a lot. Some of the board members are maestros. Mr. Turner, there's days. Asbel always yells to me. Asbel. So it's something that we build those relationships, and that helps us when we work with our families. And that helps us to build that relationship between the families and the schools. We act a lot as a liaison between the schools and the families, because they feel like they get intimidated when they come to the schools and they're sitting in a meeting. And if there's a person there that has talked to them before, they feel a little bit more comfortable in being there, thinking that there's somebody on their side. Even though we're all there for the child, sometimes the parents feel like it's them against everybody else. So when they see us there, it's kind of like, okay, this is a good thing. So sometimes it is. So that is basically us in a nutshell, Dr. Hall. Is that good?
It is, they
Okay.
Board members, any comments or anything directed at Ms. Pogue or Ms. Ford at this time? Or thoughts? I can only live one as far as Ms. Pogue is concerned.
No.
Having served as director for pretty much 11 years, and she was the social worker that dealt with all the truancy and stuff. I can't say that if you gave a truancy issue to Ms. Terry, it would be resolved in some way, shape, or form. Even if she had to take one of the Levy County deputies out there with her to evade a attacking goose. Right, Ms. Pogue?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate it then, Terry, and I'm sure that us sitting here on this board, I appreciate it very much about what y'all do.
Thank you.
I can tell you, y'all are valuable assets to our school system. I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Terry does so much more with her ability to translate for us and bridge a lot of bridges right there. Very much appreciate Gail. I know the work you do, and anytime I've ever asked y'all to do anything, it's means taking care of you. Because I know how y'all go out and do your job. Thank you very much.
They certainly do bridge the gap between our communities, our schools, and our parents. And as I said before, they do work 24/7. I can call these ladies at any time during the week, weekends, and they respond.
And you do.
And I do. Yes, I do. In closing, we truly salute our student services professionals for their unwavering, dedicated services and their commitment to educational excellence. They truly are our heroes. All of those professionals I spoke to early on, our nurses, our school guidance counselors, our social workers, as well as our RNs and LPNs at our schools. So in closing, our student services professionals, thank you for your support. All the board members, superintendents, our colleagues at the table to my left. And so with that, we have a goodie bag from our student services professionals to you for all of your support to what they do each and every day. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Forgive me, can you go back,
Oh, we got Turner.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah. Turn one.
He needs to.
Everyone has one? Okay. And so, of course, to our social workers, for you, don't leave, special for you, they're goodies for you. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Good job.
Is there
any pictures floating around as you as an angel there?
Pardon me?
Is there any picture floating around as you as an angel?
No, sir, no, because that's, I won't even go there.
Thank
That's
you.
one of my other jobs.
Thank you, Dr. Hall, thank you, ladies. Item G, Mr. Edison.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have in your packets a contract with DFEC to, so DFEC will be the building code administrator. They'll work for them to provide inspections and building services for us. In the past, what we've done the last few years, we have not had a whole lot of construction going on. And anything projects that we had, we've been able to handle working with our municipalities in our county as far as building inspections. But we're about to enter a period of need of multiple inspections. And Mr. Alexander and Mr. Stockman and I met with Larry Patterson from DFEC. And we talked with them about their services. We feel quite confident they'll be able to provide us what we need. And we're also working with a local person that they met with Larry Patterson with DFEC, so that when these inspections, some of them will occur daily, some of them will be multiple times a day, so that we can have people in place to get the inspections done and expedite it. So it's our recommendation to you to contact the DFEC for more room for inspection.
So the inspections, because of the buildings and the things that we're doing and the changes, is that what you're doing?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yes, ma'am. It's for the new Williston Middle School. And they can do anything else within the district, middle high school. And they can do anything else within the district that we need under this contract.
Chair seeking a motion.
Don't these contractors have those kind of inspections too?
Well, you can't have the person doing the building, doing inspection. You have to have somebody else. We've researched, we've reached out to the University of Florida about them, the prices and such like that. But the person building the building can't be the one doing the issue.
How about the sub?
They cannot issue their own permits.
I've been around building school, so I'm gonna ask you, it may appear ignorant, but I'm gonna ask you.
I may have to refer to somebody.
Well, it's not that brilliant a question, I honestly tell you. The county inspectors won't come out and inspect it for us during this process, or explain to me why we need these guys instead of, I've only built a house, so the county inspector showed up, I had to be there to sign off on things. So, never had to hire a private inspector to inspect it when the county inspector's coming. Does that make sense, or is that simplifying it? I mean, there's obviously something I'm missing.
Like I said, that's what we have done in the past on different projects and stuff that we have. But there's going to, the quantity of inspections that's going to be desired or needed, or is going to greatly exceed their capacity to perform them.
Okay.
Mr. Alexander would like to elaborate on that.
Well, the quantity of inspections that are going to be required for the new high school would far exceed the abilities of the county at this time. Their staff is not that big. Heretofore, Larry Martin had this inspection ability. He was a uniform building code inspector and did it until his retirement. And then we have not had any large projects since then, so we've been able to do it with local people. But at this time, we feel so that they would not be able to keep up and give us the quantity of service that we need in the not too distant future.
And these guys, when they sign off on it, the county doesn't have to come in.
No, sir, they're not required. The county, we could get them to do it at their will, but they don't have to do it. The school board is responsible for their own building code and inspection.
Okay.
And it's not the same like your home. They have to know
It has to be their special specifications.
DOE's special.
That's why I asked. That's why new territory, so I was asking. Thank you. Makes good sense.
So this is the first time we've done a contract like this?
I think it's the first time we've contracted with DFEC for the services, but
Before this, we had a contract with the city of Chiefland.
yes.
And now this is the first time that we've gone into a contract with this county.
This is their average price they charge?
And that's actually lower.
This is much lower.
How about that $11,000?
Yes, sir.
And they have somebody on staff that,
They have somebody on staff, and we're also going to have a local person that's going to be working with them that can provide inspections at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the evening, whenever they're needed.
So what we won't be held up waiting on inspection?
Yes, sir, that's the goal.
will we accept contract number 731-15-025?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the contract as stated. Any further discussion?
I do have one question before we go. It says to designate blank a staff member at the district school. Is that going to be you?
That would be,
That's all I got.
Okay. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Edison. Item H. Mr. Superintendent.
I don't have a couple more, but I'll give. Members of the board, I'll remind you that the school board solicited the proposals for the construction of the new Williston Middle High School. And Gilbane Building Company, we'll call Gilbane from this point on, was selected as the firm that was most qualified to construct the new school. The school board and Gilbane then entered into an agreement for the construction of the school, subject to the ability to agree upon a guaranteed maximum price for that project. The parties have not been able to agree on a guaranteed maximum price for the project. Therefore, pursuant section 4.b of that agreement, the superintendent recommends that the school board terminate the agreement with the Gilbane Building Company. The superintendent would also further recommend that the school board enter into negotiations with ACA Construction Group. The firm is determined to have been the second most qualified to perform the required construction services for the new middle high school.
Mr. Hastings, can you elaborate and tell us more about what it got to this and the price it couldn't come to terms on?
Yes.
So before you start on that, I don't mean to interrupt there, but was a representative from Gilbane invited here this evening to
Yes,
speak
sir.
to this? Is there someone out? Okay, so I guess they, for whatever reason, chose not to come and.
That would be a correct assumption, I think.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, as you're well aware, what the state allocated in the special facilities money was $38,800,000. And that's the amount of money that we have to work with, and that's been clear the whole time. And out of that money comes various things such as the purchase of the land, the attorney fees, the right-of-ways, the engineer's fees, the architect fees, those things come out. And so we did a contract based on $28 million, which was what we thought we would have left to build the school with. And then I came before the board and I asked you to approve $28,500,000, and which the school board did. And all that was well-documented information, the amount of money that we would spend on the school. So about 3 weeks ago, the Gilbane Company had finished with their soliciting subcontractors. And they opened those bids and we were present as they opened the bids, and we kept a running tally. And the total amount of the bids came in between 35 million and 36 million, the low bid in that area. And so at which point in time, the project manager informed me that, knowing that was more money than we had, he said, what we will do is ask the subcontractors to cut out the fluff, and that we will, you know, bring you back another price, a better price, after we remove all the things that we can remove. And so my thinking at that point in time was that they would come back with a bid of something like 33 million, somewhere in that neighborhood, give or take a little. And that's a nice neighborhood, but that was what I was expecting. And then from that point, then we could do some value assessments and see where we could cut costs, you know, like maybe not paving the road from the back of the receiving area around to the ag shop, maybe reducing some of the student parking, just some things like that to get it down to around $30 million, which I felt like I could come up with through some various means of asking the state to listen to some adjustments. So I thought we were in good shape. And in fact, a week ago, the guy that's in charge of Gilbane for this area, talked with him. He said, Bob, I told you I could build a school for that amount of money, and we're going to do it. And that was just a week ago. I said, great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm pulling for you. I want it to be all good. And so then we met Friday afternoon to get their guaranteed maximum price, and they came back with a guaranteed maximum price of just under $47 million, which you have on your ticket here. Which, I said, 47 million. How can you go up from 36 million and you ask people to cut out the fluff and go to 47 million? Doesn't make sense. And they didn't really offer a lot of explanation. And I said, well, you know, if you're going to stay there at 47 million, there's not a whole lot further discussion to have, because we don't have that kind of money. We can't do it. And so I think there's various reasons why they did that, but a lot of that would just be speculation on my part, so I'm not going to go there. But anyway, that was where they left. So I immediately emailed the guy that's in charge of Gilbane for this territory and said, we can't meet that guaranteed maximum price. So therefore, we're going to have to move on without Gilbane. And to this very moment, I have never heard from Gilbane Construction Company. It's not by phone call, not by person, not by any means. Now, one of them did call Mr. Edison late this afternoon, but it wasn't a whole lot of conversation with that either. But they never contacted me to talk to me, period. So, I'm asking for two things, and you can do this separately, I think would be good. First of all, to cancel the contract with Gilbane. And then the second thing I'm asking for is permission to move forward with ACA Construction Company.
So legally, we can do that with the contract that we've made?
That's the appropriate procedure under the contract. We didn't arrive at a final figure. That was going to be an addendum to the GMP, the guaranteed maximum price, was going to be an addendum to the contract. We haven't been able to settle on a finalized contract. So under the statute, the procedures move to the number 2 on the bid list.
And they knew what our budget was, I mean, and they can just come up with a price like that, and that's legal for them to do that too?
Well, that's part of trying for both sides to arrive at a guaranteed maximum price. For whatever reasons, we weren't able to arrive at a mutually acceptable guaranteed maximum price. So we don't have a finalized contract, and that's why we move on to number two. I haven't had any discussions with Gilbane, so I don't know what their reasons were. I haven't gotten, just like the superintendent, hasn't gotten any explanation how we got from 36 to $47 million.
And by terminating a contract or our contract with them, they can't, do they have any recourse that they can come back on us?
I'm confident that this is the proper legal procedure for how to handle this. Anybody with $250 can go down and file a lawsuit at the courthouse. It's not guaranteed that nobody's ever going to make a claim, but I'm confident that we're handling this the correct legal way on the contract and under the statute.
Currently, the board does not have a contract with Gilbane for a,
Guaranteed maximum.
guaranteed maximum price. We do not have a contract with them. We have a contract that was presented to us for us to act on this evening. Or to act
You
on.
had a contract that you have already put into force, and in that contract was a pre-construction allocation, which we have on. But in that contract, that 4B that I referenced,
Yes.
it says if you cannot agree upon the guaranteed maximum price, that this contract is null and void.
And that's the point that we're at right now.
There is no way we'll ever get that $11 million, so we have no choice. I move we cancel the contract with Gilbane.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
I
Is
mean,
there
my
any further
disappointment
discussion?
with them is just, I mean, I just absolutely can't believe that they would do something like this, and
I completely agree with Mrs. Brookins. We sat here that day, they knew that day we decided on Gilbane. They knew, without a shadow of doubt, this was the total amount of money we had.
it's public.
4 or 5 of those jokers that were up here said, we can do it, that's what we know, that's what we got, that's where we're gonna be. That they have set a fine example of why people question contractors and all that, right there.
Well, the fact that they're not here this evening, in my opinion, speaks volumes to their dedicated interest in it. And also, Mr. Superintendent, does this have in any manner any effect on the architect? Is he included in that package? He will still be the architect if we move into number 2?
Now, I've had lengthy conversations with the architect, and I might like to tell you this too, that when we had this conversation, we had 3 or 4 engineers in here, with the architect, with Ulrich and his man, with Gilbane, project manager, and with our people, Jeff and Ted and stuff. And so we were all in here, and we would come to the point and said, look, guys, there's no need us going further, because I don't see how we can get there. And I shook everybody's hand, and thanked them for being here, for the work they've done, and I walked out that door. Now, my anticipation was that at that point, the architect and the construction management people would get together and start figuring out some ways to reduce the cost. 15 minutes later, I walked back in here, both construction companies are gone, and only the architect and the engineers are left in here. And so I had a lengthy conversation about some of the things that we need to make adjustments on to get to the point that where we need to be.
Mr. Hastings, I mean, we are stewards of taxpayers' money, and why would we think this other company is going to, conform to that budget?
Yeah, unfortunately, I only have one, thanks to Mr. Edison saving their presentation. But I went through that with a fine-tooth comb today. And I think that they have demonstrated through their building of Forest High School and middle school and K-8 school and Cutler Elementary. Plus, I was closely associated with them when I was on the board of directors for Central Florida Community College. They did all of our building there. They built that Ewers Center out in front there in Ocala, a magnificent building. and they built all of the Citrus campus, and they got the contract to build the CF school on Highway 19 in Lincoln County. And so, looking at the timetables that they did things in, and the price and cost of the things they did, I'm very confident that they want this job and they will work diligently to move forward with us.
Mr. Chairman, I raise a point of parliamentary inquiry. I don't feel that we can discuss the other contractor because that's not germane to this motion. The motion is we're going to get rid of the contractor, Gilbane. We can't discuss the other contractor yet. That's for the next topic.
So noted, and there's no more discussion pertinent to.
I got another question.
To the,
You want me to hold them now, or you want me to wait?
are they concerning the motion?
Contract.
The termination of the contract?
Probably not.
Okay, well then, with that, let's go ahead and vote on the cancellation of the contract and then take care of any other business going in that direction. So all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Okay. Do you want, let's see, now we have terminated there. Before we act on Mr. Superintendent's second request to move forward, Chair will entertain any other discussion regarding Williston Middle High School, the construction of the new Williston Middle High School.
Got to be real careful here, because I don't make an idiot of myself. When I built my house, a man gave me a price. He went to the architect, the builder. I don't understand why the architect not involved. He knew how much money we had. Did he not submit? And did he not say what, we did not tell him what we wanted? He knew what we wanted, we knew how much money we had? Why is the architect not involved?
I wouldn't say that the architect is totally without some fault. I wouldn't, but at the same time, there has to be a collaboration between the architect and the construction management team.
Yeah, but isn't that his job, to convey to that construction management team how much money we have?
Now, he knew, the construction management team knew how much money we had. That was no secret.
Well, some of the subs called me, and they said some of the rules that Gilbane put in the bid process, there's no way that school could ever come in on budget. And I don't know, I assume he knew what he's talking about, because I sure don't. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to you. I don't have any idea about what they're talking about. But I do know that when a sub tells me that some of the things that Gilbane put in the building process, there's no way they can meet that under or at bid, then something's wrong somewhere. I think we've been had, what I think. But I don't know. I'm gonna shut up.
Well, Mr. Philpott, I mean, it's obvious, there was some things that didn't go well, and, whether it's, whose fault is primary, I don't know, but it's one thing I do know, that we're going to build that school, and we're going to open that school in August of 2016, and we're going to have teachers and kids and the staff there. And I don't see any reason why we can't build that school and get it open, and it'd be a very nice school.
Thank you for that, Mr. Superintendent. I'm going to make one additional comment. Would you have a comment, Mr. Anderson?
Go ahead, I'll follow.
This would be, we have a person on staff here who is relatively familiar with a lot of the construction stuff, Mr. Alexander. This is going to be directed at him. If you don't feel comfortable answering it, Mr. Alexander, you just tell me right up front here. But in your professional opinion, should the architect have had knowledge of this expansion in cost earlier than last Friday? And if so?
I believe that all of us should have had knowledge of this problem. But they sat before this board individually
all three contractors and promised you all that they could build this project for the dollars that we had. Each contractor individually did that. Some of them promised you more than the contract alone. We had a bid opening that went out to bid at the plans that had been drawn and we paid for on, that was the 6th of February? And I added up, January. And I added the figures up using not always the lowest bidder, but most always the lowest bidder. There was a few bids that I had question about the contractors themselves, so I didn't choose them. I came slightly over $35 million. Now those contractors, whether they liked bidding the way they did or did not, did bid, and we had probably 3 to 5 bidders on almost every regiment of the construction. So I thought it was, relatively a fair bid, and once they got together and were able to clean it up, should I say this doesn't have to happen this way, that, I'm talking about the architect and the subcontractors, I, like Mr. Hastings, expected to see somewhere between 30 and 33 million. So they were bidding to the plan. They were bidding to the plan.
plan.
We have had those plans from the beginning. Those are the plans that all three contractors looked at and told us meaning the board, that we can do it. We'll be more than happy to do it. We're the best ones to do it. And what happened, I don't know. I don't know how you can take the lowest bid and negotiate them up. And that's what happened. I mean, they went up $11 million. Oh, almost, 30%, 35%. So I'm just as blown away as y'all. I don't know what happened, why it happened, but obviously, I think tonight, they don't want the job.
One of the, talking about that, when they came in here, one of the big deciding factors for me is why I was for Gilbane at the time. They had built this school before.
Right.
And they said, we have built this school before, we can build it for that, we can bang that sucker out on time. And indicated that not only would it be budget, they were gonna have extra stuff, oh, we know how to do this.
They bid it at a rapid pace.
They could do it.
At the peak of the boom 10 years ago for $23 to $24 million.
Right. That was one of the things they said. It was like,
So,
no brainer.
That's what I don't understand. I mean, they stood in front of all of us, they knew they could do it, and there's no repercussions, there's no nothing, they can just go up on the price and do that to us.
Well, I think what Mr. Alexander said is correct. Something clearly happened that changed their interest in doing this project. That's the only conclusion I can draw from it. They didn't want to do it anymore between the time they made the presentation and the time the contracts. And you can't do a contract, a joint agreement with somebody who doesn't want to do the job.
We stayed almost daily contact with the construction management and the architect and engineers and city and everybody. I mean, we have invested hundreds of man hours in this, and right to the Friday afternoon, I thought we were working together, because a week before I was told we're going to get there, we're going to build that school just like we want. And so my question is, be honest with me. Tell me you don't want to do it or you can't do it. But the attorney informed me that the only way out of this contract was to not be able to come to an agreement on the guaranteed maximum price. And so that's where we're at.
With Gilbane, I have a picture. Protocol calls for ACA to be our next. Now, have we had, have we had any comments? All right, we've got to decide we're gonna do that, right?
that was the second recommendation the superintendent indicated he was going to be making.
And I asked this cautiously. They were another bunch that said, we know the dollar figure, we can do it. Those kind of things. Do we have any experience with ACA in the past?
Not in Levy County. Now, I tell you, they're anxious to come to Levy County. I personally have had dealings with them because I was on the board at Central Florida. But, they have built a multitude of schools in Marion County and for the college, and they're anxious to move out into the surrounding, counties and all.
So do we need to authorize you to contact them?
I make a motion that we authorize the superintendent to negotiate with ACA Construction Group.
I second that.
Okay, now, is that all you need stated in the motion, is to negotiate with them, or?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion and a second, any further discussion?
Will they come back before the board, or we talk to them, you just initiate that, and then we'll move ahead?
Yeah, I'll initiate it, and I will do a lot of things about getting communication started between the architect and the construction management team. And, but at some point in time, they have to bring a contract, and we have to bring a contract to you, just like we did with Gilbane. So,
Within
yes.
that budget.
Is it possible to stress to Mr. Stressing that we're watching him too?
Oh, yeah.
Is that, I mean, we've got everybody involved, I'm gonna be watching.
Yeah, we've had that conversation.
Is that an automatic though, that ACA will have him as the architect?
Yes.
We have already,
Already committed to that.
to start over from ground zero would not be good. But we have to go with the plans that was approved by DOE, and that's out there, and that's the building we got to build. And, so, yes, sir, we do.
But I'm going to echo Mr. Asbell, that he needs to be aware that, at least this board member is stretching a little bit of blame for this on him in the communication direction. Communicating what he may have known that was going on, and that's just my own,
Yeah,
personal.
I might throw this out there, I don't know if I should or not, but you know me, I'm going to. The construction management team complained that they couldn't meet with Stresser and the engineers. And I reported that to Mr. Stresser, and he said, not true. They're the ones that will not meet with me. So that one of the engineers, who doesn't, not on his payroll, but, you know, a construction engineer, I think electrical, he showed me emails where where Paul Stressing, emailing them to include them, sent to Gilbane's people asking for meetings and no response. And finally, when they did respond one time, they said, we don't have time.
Thank you for sharing
That makes me feel better.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. We have had discussion. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign. The motion does carry. Anything else in that line, Mr. Superintendent?
I'd just like to reiterate the fact that this staff is dedicated to the building of that school in a timely manner, in budget, and we're going to make sure we get it done.
And that is a direct quote.
That is a quote.
So when do you anticipate talking to ACA?
In the morning about 9 o'clock.
We're going to take a 5-minute recess.
They may get work.
Call the meeting back to order, please.
Are you?
That would be Ms. Payne.
I didn't make it. It's a Sarah Lee.
Tell Sarah Lee.
I hadn't tried it, but.
Mr. Superintendent, aye.
Can I say one thing for the suit gets up there?
You most certainly can, sir.
Talked to my buddy, Mr. Alexander, one day, he brought a really good point. And I think it's a real positive thing, I think something we need to think about. You know, he pointed out to me just a while ago, we've been jumping through hoops now for 2.5 years. This is just another hoop we got up and jumping through.
Yes, sir.
And so we just, I don't, you know, we need to get discouraged, I understand that. But now, you know, now's not the time, we need to keep pushing on. And, Mr. Alexander, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. But we have been jumping through a lot of hoops for the last 2 years.
Thank you, Mr. Bill.
Just another, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander.
I do want to bring it to the board's attention. I don't think we need any action on this, what I'm about to say, but I think it needs to be public knowledge, and I think that the board needs to hear it before back in the mid-1980s, Marion County decided to build a new school in Donnell. And the term they were using, not named, but what they were calling it, is the Tri-County High School. And they got Levy County to agree to send the students from the Yankeetown, the students that would be in 912, to the Donnell High School as a Tri-County High School. And Citrus County was the other third of that high school. At some point in time, Citrus County said, wait a minute, we got schools that are just as good or better than Donnell, and we're not going to bus our students over there. So Citrus County had pulled out some time ago. They also changed the areas which would incorporate Donnell, and that changed the student body and numbers going from like 800 to 1,800 students there and so forth. And so anyway, with the economic situation that we're in, I think it would be prudent of us to quit busing our FTEs to Marion County, and for us to offer them chances to go to our fine high schools. And in another year, Wilson will have a new high school, brand new facilities and so forth. I think any student should want to go there, love to go there. But I thought this is my plan, which can be altered as needed. But to offer them transportation, I'm talking about the 912 kids in the Yankeetown area, to offer them transportation to Wilson High School or to Cedar Keith High School, their choice. Now I did hear a lot of them say they would like to go to Cedar Keith. A lot. I only talked to two. They said they would like to go to Cedar Keith. So anyway, that's a lot.
That's a lot there.
And
We welcome them with open arms.
absolutely. Now, of course, they're also with a school choice. They're free to go to Chiefland or Bronson too, but they would have to get to the nearest bus stop, to make that connection and then go. Now, in doing this, we're not telling these students they can't go to Donnell High School. We would, if their parents or a ride can get them to Marion County's nearest bus stop, so be it. Or take them to Donnell and they want to go there, that's fine. I'm sure Donnell will accept them, continue to accept them, and that's fine. But this is the same program that everybody has all over the state and we have with the other counties. Same thing with Dixie County. If Dixie County student gets to into Levy County to our closest bus stop, we bring the rest away, or Gilchrist, or Alachua County, same thing. So it's no different than what we're doing with the other three surrounding counties. So anyway, I just want to make y'all aware of it. This doesn't require board action, but certainly something y'all need to be aware of. And we'll do letters to the 912 students and the 8th graders down there shortly. Any questions, Ron? For us to bus our FTE out of the county when we need all the FTE we can get, ludicrous. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Ms. Pam, item J, do we have any corrections to the minutes of the January 20th board meeting?
Not to the January 20th, but I do have, just want to ask you if I can make a change on December 16th and December 2nd, and it's just, I had left off our new board chair. I left in there Robert Philpott as the chair, and it was brought to my attention by our auditor. And he was going over the minutes. He said, well, you still got the chair as Robert Philpott. And that was just a typo, and I want to change that. That's all right with y'all. But that's the only changes I have for the minutes. Be for December 16th and the 2nd.
We need a motion to that effect.
Move we accept corrections.
Second.
Thank you.
The Been a motion and a second to allow the corrections to the board minutes from the previous meetings in December. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign. Motion carries. Now, that did not include the approval of the January 20th meeting minutes.
Move approval.
So we move it, okay?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the January 20th meetings. Any conversation, comments relative to that? If none, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Consent agenda, Ms. Pam, are there any changes?
Yes, sir. There are some additions and changes here. On page 1, under general items, A, personnel changes, number 4, Jennifer Young. Her release from employment will be as of February 17th. And so it is incorrect. Going down to number 8, Terry Edison, guidance counselor, transfer to chief of middle guidance. Her effective date is February 5th. And then on 9, Alyssa Rakovitz, and that should include Bronson Elementary and Bronson Middle High guidance. She's replacing Terry Edison. That position is for both schools. Looking over on page 2, number 2 should be taken off. That was previously approved with number 11 at the January 20th board meeting. So strike out number 2 and number 11. They were previously approved. And also on the addition to consent, addition to consent, you're on the addition to consent,
Yes, ma'am.
number 5, under personnel changes. For our field assignment, we're also going to add, at Levy Learning Academy, these teachers are both at Levy Learning. Jan O'Neill, she's out of field in Algebra 1. Gary Harris is out of field in Earth and Space Science. And that'll be reflected in the minutes, it'll be correct. And then going to the superintendent approval list, if you'll look back on the very last page 3, industry certification bonus pay, the project number is the CAPE project, and the number is 15322. And that's all the changes.
Ms. Perkins, do you have any comments, questions regarding the consent agenda?
I don't, Carol's here, and so the 11th in Tallahassee right now.
Well, I came back just for y'all, because y'all changed the board nights.
Oh, all right, so you're gonna go back to Tallahassee tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good, thank you so much. That's all the questions I have.
Why y'all looking this way?
Because Ms. Brookins took my one question, I'm a little bit put out.
Maybe
Well, find
Mr.
another
Carter-
question.
Maybe Mr. Carter will stall long enough.
I may find me another.
Mr. Carter, do you have questions, comments regarding the consent agenda?
No, sir, I am good.
Okay, Mr. Ashram?
No, mine's good, take it.
Okay, Mr. Philpott?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, chair has none at this time either. So we're looking for a motion for approval.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second regarding the consent agenda approval. There are any additional comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign, motion carries. Taking us right down to superintendent, item L. Taking down, pass it around.
Actually, all that is just to alert y'all that the forestry department is conducting another control burn, like they did last week or the week before, in the Guthrie State Forest, and it'll start tomorrow, or Thursday morning at 10, go through Friday. And so they'll be closing where the red line is drawn, except for through traffic.
You want to cut some more trees too?
Not the,
I don't know.
they're burning these.
I'm in favor of cutting more trees.
Mr. Tyson, do we use those
Renewal and natural resource.
for pickup,
It
or
does come in handy for all of us.
is that gonna affect our,
Pardon me?
is that gonna affect our transportation for kids?
Not, no, sir, we've got it, plans for it.
That's all I need.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I just want to make you all aware of that. And also, want to make you aware of something we need to do. I don't have handouts for you, but the state is hammering us on our expulsions for students with disabilities and even our minority students. And this is not a good thing. And so I have researched, and I asked Pam to reach out to the other NEPAC districts and our surrounding districts and to see how they word things, because a lot of times it's just in terminology. And if you, Gilchrist County, they don't show that they expelled any students with disabilities, so we were quite interested in how they do it. Well, what they do, and it really is no change in what we would do, only in terminology. And so like a student that has misbehaved, say they, like some of them that you saw this evening, and they come in before you, we would say something, and I don't have the wording down right now, but we'll work on the wording and present it to you, that I'm going to recommend to the board that they be placed at the Levy Learning Academy with services for the remainder of this year, next year, blah, blah, blah. In the event that they should be recommended to there, then we will use the terminology. Should they go to Levy Learning Academy and continue to be disruptive, mess up, whatever, then they would come back before the board, and we would change the terminology to expel without services. And so nothing actually would change in the way that it's presented to you, only the terminology of being placed at Levy Learning Academy instead of expelled. But should they not go there, like sometimes students decide not to go there, then the terminology would be expelled. Okay. Any questions?
But if they're ESE students, then we still have to provide services, even if we expel them.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Why do we say that for all our students?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, but we don't, if they're not ESE, we don't have to provide services.
We don't get hammered like we do for,
Yeah, but we can say what we did for all of them.
yeah, we'll use that terminology for all of them, yes, sir.
Is there any way to retroactively go back and make those changes?
That's what you're saying.
Change horses and numbers,
Why is
They would explain that to their non-emergency, they have questions.
Any other questions about that, we'd be glad to work on, but we'll have that ironed out for you, but we're just trying to get the state from hammering us about this, is basically all it is. We've had a lot of concerns lately about sexual offenders attending different events, you know, and I'm gonna ask, our school board attorney to look at this too. Mr. Edison went to a meeting this afternoon. We've had conversations continuously at different schools about sexual predators coming to like a basketball game or somewhere they're mixed with kids and all. And we have a thing, I think the sheriff's department did this. The sheriff's department is the one that came up with this Florida statute and how it's unlawful for a person convicted of a sexual offense to be in presence of this, you know, even at like football games, basketball games, unless they're escorted by somebody like a police officer or somebody. But we'll work on that wording to make sure that what we're doing is legal. In fact, David, what we'll do is, scan this in, send you a copy of it, and then you can work on it. But, we would like to be a little bit more protective of our kids and what we were always led to believe that we could. You know, we do it during the school day, but we didn't know we had an extension of the school day at events. But anyway, that's another thing we'll be working on.
Is there anything they'd like to come to the next board meeting?
Oh, yeah, the sheriff's department
And
and
the municipalities?
would like to come and do a presentation to y'all on this subject, so expect that at the next board meeting. Any questions, thoughts, concerns?
Thank you, Superintendent.
Have anybody ever investigated about my sign about the seatbelt?
You know, I thought you were going to do it.
But I can, I didn't know I was supposed to, but I sure can.
Oh, Max was, that's right, he was here that day. That was also wrong. Sorry.
Come on,
I would, yeah.
He'll be here next day.
If you make a note, Pam, and, we'll put it on, the maintenance department, transportation department to check the signs, to see about that. We'll get that done.
make sure, maybe in the parking lot, on the outside, that you have a seat, please put on your seatbelt, or it's the law or whatever.
Fastens.
We have had some vehicles in the parking lots, but I don't think we have it at all.
We'll get one.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking.
All right, sir. Okay, Ms. Brookins.
Comments?
Yes, now for your comments.
I don't have any main comments. I'm happy with everything in the schools and administration, and I'm thrilled that I got a telephone call from Patrick about his decision. So
Absolutely.
that's all I have.
Thank you, Carl.
Mr. Superintendent, thank you for that on sexual predators, because I know that I had a couple parents and a grandparent that was on me asking about that, if there wasn't anything we could do, so they'll be happy about that. On Saturday is the gala, so if you need a ticket, see me, you come, so we appreciate you coming. We've got former speaker Alan Benz, who is one of the speakers, and then our very own state rep, Charlie Stubbs. So it should be a good evening. It'll be at Chiefland Elementary, so I appreciate you guys coming. And my last thing is, Mr. Tyson, thank you again for our email we got last. I'm glad everybody was safe, and so was just appreciate the quick response, and I appreciate the superintendent enacting that. So it's just kind of nice whenever you're fielding text messages from worried parents want to know if their kids were on the bus, if they were okay. And so thank you very, very much. So I appreciate that.
And the pictures.
Mr. Asbeck.
Mr. Brookins, once again,
Okay,
it was pretty well a highlight of Jack. I went from a very low point to a high point. I was very disturbed that Dr. Winnett was going to leave us. And I could not blame him. He would even tell you I'd say, take it. It was such a golden opportunity. And then the man made me feel so good when he called me to tell me that his heart wanted him to stay here, and he prayed about it, and that's great. And I think it's wonderful that we still have him, because of, we got some great staff here, and he is a crucial part of that team that makes this such a great staff, and that's fantastic. But having said all that, can you please tell me about the bronze award that Bronson High School got with U.S. News and World Report, what all that entails?
A lot of those awards that you get through U.S. News and World Report, Newsweek has one, Washington Post, there are several variables that go into that. They look at your free and reduced status, they look at your advanced placement, career and technical ed programs. So all of it's put into a formula, and based on the formula, they ranked as a bronze school in the United States. So none of our other schools made that ranking, and we're proud of them, and we've shared that with their staff. Yes. But so anyway, that's the formula. I can give you more. I'll send you more information. It's pretty technical on how they calculate it, but they have some good things happening at their school.
So pretty technical guys.
Okay, I'll send that to you. All right.
But thank you again. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, thanks, sir. Mr. Phil Pike.
I got a couple of things, I want to thank Mr. Alexander again, you made my day, Mr. Alexander, I want you to know that, I feel a lot better than I did about 45 minutes ago. I want to thank you. Also like to report that Williston Middle School basketball teams won the SMAC conference, boys and girls. And I think that's, for the boys, that's like 12 years in a row or something, that's been off. They went pretty
Had to be
well.
that.
The girls won it too. Say again?
Yeah, the girls won
I think that's correct. Yep, never mind, I won't go there. Girls basketball is an interesting sport. Okay, now.
Yes.
That also, I think, I read in the paper that the Williston High School boys basketball team won the district Saturday night. So, athletics is big and good.
The girls are playing tonight.
The girls are?
Yes, sir, they're playing Wildwood.
Well, that's right, they did. I forgot about that. Sir?
Mr. Philpott, just kind of a opposite thing, I guess, but a middle school basketball coach from another county, not from our county, said, what are they feeding those kids in Williston? They run out 4 8th graders, 7th and 8th graders that were 6'3" and above, and last year they graduated a couple of them was 6'5" or 6'6". I don't know what they're feeding them over there.
I saw a little dude, I guess, I'm not a real basketball fan, you probably can't tell by looking at him, I mean, not expert, I mean, but he's a point guard, he's a 7th grader.
Yes.
If he keeps going the way he's going right now, he's gonna be something.
He's better than that.
He's fun, it gets fun to watch him play. It's a lot of fun watching him play, he's fearless.
Now, the one thing you were taught in basketball was that you can't do what?
You not drive on his own defense. Nobody drives on his own defense.
Anything else, sir?
What my football coach taught me, because he was my basketball coach too, nobody drives on his own defense, and they did, they get it done. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Just one comment from the chair. A couple of us attended last Saturday, was it Monday? When did we go to the? Monday. We went to the Williston Women's Club and heard a lady speaking on human trafficking that was expert with ties to the FBI, et cetera, and some of our law enforcement locally was there, and we see another letter, we have another letter from them as well. And I have a very close tie with someone in one of the metropolitan areas here in Florida that says the enticements and all are there, and that we would do all of us well if we paid attention to any persons that were lurking around, not necessarily at the school, but even in our communities where we know and all, that may be trying to entice some of these, particularly young ladies, into positions that they could become trafficked themselves. It was a good presentation, and from the chair, thank you, Mr. Philpott, Mr. Tyler, and others that attended.
Y'all, if I'm not, Mr. Chairman, my wife thanked y'all too. She was pretty impressed. Y'all showed up.
Some things you
It'd take a lot to impress her in some areas.
All right, anything else to come before the board at this time? If not, meeting is adjourned.